because we're in a deep discount relative to the high of here and the low down here, this is where price is trading at present. Look at this range right here. Say this right here. This is a balanced price range. All of this in here, I'm going to highlight it so that we can see exactly what I'm referring to. From here to here, all of this price action, that is a balanced price range because price has been offered up and down, and then it left it. Where is price trading essentially at right now? Half of this range, right? Because it's a range that has bodies, it's not inefficient. So in an inefficient range, which is a gap or inefficiency, the midpoint is consequent encroachment. Whenever there is a range that has the bodies that are laid across the entire range, whether it be an order block or a trading range like this, its range is balanced. So a midpoint of that is equilibrium. So we would measure it like this, low to high. And we're just almost touching what would be equilibrium there. And we're inside of this fair value gap. So what does that mean? What do we do with that information? We can see it potentially bounce. I'm not saying it's going to go here all the way up to here, but because we traded into this inefficiency, there hasn't been an inefficiency at all in here. See that? There's no inefficiency in any of that. This is the only one that exists in the price run from this low all the way up to here. This is the only one, and we're trading in it right now. So we could see it pause, pull back up into this inefficiency. I'd like to see if it does trade up into this one here, between this candle's low and this weekly high. If it were to trade up into that, I would like to see some of that stay open. So if it, for whatever reason, starts to trade higher, going into the end of the week or going into the next week, I would like to see this portion stay open. But I'd like to see at least half of it, which would be right here, like this portion of it there. I would not want to see price trade up into that on a closing basis on any daily chart at all. If it does that and stays open like this, my mindset is we're going down here, that level down here. So longer term, as I mentioned, that my mindset was the quarterly shift was bearish. We wanted to see higher prices for dollar, which is what? Risk off. Risk off means that equities, stocks, gold, index futures, and forex will go where? Down. You have to have this in the beginning if you're brand new. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know how to find bias, if you don't know what you're doing in terms of picking a direction that makes sense for your trades, that has the highest degree of probability behind it on a higher time frame. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to be profitable in every single trade just because you're trading this macro in mind. Macro in the sense that it's the macro time frame, not a macro that's a time-oriented script algorithmically. That's not what I'm referring to. But you have to submit yourself to an idea that is larger than the time frame you're trading. Because if you do that, you're using a time element in your trading that it's rooted in and founded on a larger time frame bias that large institutions are actually going to promote, being the weekly and the daily chart. Large firms, large lending institutions, banks, their interests in the marketplace are not looking at time frames that we do lots of entries and exits on. They're looking at weekly, monthly, and daily time frames because that's where the pools of liquidity are going to be located. That's where the inefficiencies are going to be located, which is the reason why I'm teaching you this year to focus just on these two time frames. Price is going to go up for buy side liquidity, or it's going to go up to trade into and reprice to in an inefficiency. Price is either going to drop down for sell stop or sell side liquidity, or it's going down to reprice to an inefficiency below price action. That's the only two functions that price does. Anything apart from that is going to be either consolidation, waiting for sentiment to build up, and then markets will run to where the majority of the liquidity would be. So it's advantageous for smart money to pair with them. Anything apart from those three things is manual intervention. That means that's the real underlying risk. That means that no one knows what's going to happen at that moment. You have a black swan event, an unexpected price reaction when a news event comes in or market driver releases data, and it should cause the dollar to go down, but the dollar goes up like full force. That's manual intervention. So how do I know, because I get questioned a lot, how do I know when I'm in a trade that it might start to potentially retrace against me? Not necessarily reverse, but how can I avoid having to sit through a larger retracement that I'm comfortable with? Well, you can be in partials by now. That way you have something scaled out in the event that I'm wrong, in the event that you're wrong by holding it for lower if you're short. You want to always try to find a way to fund your account consistently and not look at it as you have to have the full pull on every trade. That means from entry to target or terminus, where you think the price is ultimately going to go. In the beginning, it's unrealistic. It's unreasonable for you to anticipate and expect that you are going to be able to do that every single time. And it's not failure for you not to be able to do that. It's progress reaching towards that goal.